Hello. Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode here. I can't hear myself on the mic. Here we go. On the O'Shea Duke Jackson channel. I'm your host, O'Shea. I got to get back to my Yeti mic, man, when I get back to Poland. But anyways, it's part two. We had Kobe on a few nights ago. Kobe Smith, owner of www.blackамerican.com. Now, I believe tomorrow we may have Amir Ra on. He wanted to respond. He wanted to respond a little bit, but today, who we had stepping in Amir Ra's place was none other than Search for Uhuru. But then there was a little bit of a dust up, and I had no idea that there was some situation between, Dynast Amir and Kobe. But the name of this title, and I'm catching titles. Why? Oh, I should have put R. Why are ADOS hating on other ADOS moving to Africa? That's just a title to get y'all here. I am trolling. But anyways, welcome back to the show, Kobe Smith. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me back.
That's the title to get y'all here. I am. Is that my YouTube doing that?
I hear echo. I hear echo. I don't. It's not me. I turn my stuff down.
Hold on a second. Is that my YouTube doing that? Yeah.
Echo. I hear echo. It's not me. I turn my stuff down.
Hold on. Are you sure?
Bruh.
Wait. Hold on. Check your YouTube again, man.
All right. Let me just take my whole damn speaker out.
Check your YouTube again, man.
All right. Let me just make sure.
Okay, because I have all my stuff closed.
All right, I'm gonna close out everything. All right. Let me just make sure. All right, I'm gonna close out everything. All right. Let me just make sure. I'm closed out, man. All right, I'm gonna close out everything.
All right, it's still echoing.
Let me see.
Let me leave and come back. Let's see if that's good. All right, it's still echoing. Let me leave and come back. Let's see if that's good. All right, it's still echoing. It's coming from your end. How about you do this? Why don't you leave and you come back?
All right, let me try that.
Yeah. All right. Damn, O'Shea, that white background with your dark skin, it pop on the screen. Virgo. What the fuck are you talking about?
Try that.
Yeah. All right. All right. So, as we can see, we have a little bit of technical difficulties. White man is holding us back, but we're coming right back, y'all, on the stream. So I'm just waiting on him to return. Waiting on the return. Hello.
Yeah, hopefully that works.
Yeah. It's better. It's better.
Okay, that's what's up.
All right. So Kobe, tell us a little bit about yourself for those people who might not know about you.
Yeah, hopefully that works.
Oh, it's still echoing.
Okay, that's what's up.
All right. So Kobe, tell us a little bit about yourself for those people who might not know about you.
Yeah, hopefully that works.
Oh, it's still echoing.
Hold on. Let me do this. Hold on. All right, now I bet that works.
All right. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
All right, man. So for those of you that didn't watch the show the other night, my name's Kobe Smith. I spent about 6 years in Ghana, West Africa. I worked there as a gold miner and just as an entrepreneur in general. I'm a graduate of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, and where I studied finance, and then I have about 10 years of banking experience there as well. So I got married on the continent. I'm fluent in a West African language called Tree, and I'm really passionate, about these topics about identity within the Black American community. I own a company called Black American. You can see our website at blackamerican.com. And, glad to be back for a second night so we can talk some more, so we can clear up some information that a lot of people may misunderstand.
Okay. Let's talk about the misunderstanding situation. I was previously on the live stream with someone I know personally from the same city, went to the same high school, the brother Dynast Amir, and
Right.
he heard what you had to say on the stream, but I had no idea that that you two knew each other or had some. How did you come to know Dynast?
Well, I mean, I've always watched Dynast, his show, Search for Uhuru. And so, I was also active in his chats. And then I contacted him one day because I wanted to be able to talk to him and just be a participant on the show because, I have more experience on the continent than Dynast. That's just a fact. See, Dynast, he goes in and out. Dynast is essentially a tourist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he goes there, he'll stay there a couple of days, he'll stay there a couple of weeks, and then he'll come back. And he'll just go back and forth back. But Dynast doesn't have any on the ground, real-time experience on the continent. So a lot of the things that Dynast says is very misleading to his followers because it's all out of context. So if you sit up here and you just listen to somebody who just flies in and out, in and out, in and out, they don't really have the proper perspective to give valuable information. So when you listen to Dynast, you're listening to a tourist. But when you're listening to me, you're listening to someone who actually has legal paperwork that says that they're a resident of said, African country that I lived in. You're listening to somebody who's actually fluent in a native language that I study. You're listening to someone who actually went through cultural immersion. You're listening to someone who got married on the ground. You're listening to someone who built a business on the ground and who's interfaced with police officers and politicians and chiefs. You're listening to someone who's built a house out there and who owns land out there. So Dynast doesn't have the experience that I do. So I've listened to Dynast's show and I'm just sitting up here and I'm just shaking my head, and he's got all these followers and people are listening. All the Hotep brothers are listening. So I want to get in and I want to be able to, put in my 2 cents. So I sent him an email, and he's a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. I'm also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. So we're both noobs. So we shared that in common. He lived out in Sacramento, California. I lived in Sacramento, just like you. He's in Atlanta now, I think. I studied in Atlanta. So there's some things that, that we shared in common that were parallel with one another. And so fast forward to the link, I guess, that he put on the show, showing that I contacted, I didn't contact, rather, Nigerian immigration. I just tagged them on a conversation that we were having. That's just the smoking gun of you know what I mean, that he just caught me like, oh, I got you, whatever. We were having an argument in that conversation. So I want to create a context for how that even happened. We were having an argument, and Dynast was doing
about what was Dynast about?
Dynast was doing like Dynast always does, trashing Black American people and trashing Black American culture, right? And I'm not going to have it. I didn't even know that you was having a show. I'm riding down the road, and then as soon as I turn it on, I hear Dynast basically talking about how we don't have a culture. Explain it to me. What is this thing? Trap, all this stuff. That's what Dynast does. So me and Dynast was, going back and forth about that thing. And then he was talking about essentially getting, now that he has his paperwork, trying to get Black Americans to go to Nigeria so he can also help them get their stuff. And then that's when I drew the line. Now, for all the Black Americans who You there?
Yeah. I just dropped my. I'm cool.
Okay. So for all the Black Americans who are listening in the chat room, y'all have to understand something about doing business in Africa and also living there. There is a culture of corruption in Africa that operates in every single solitary institution on that continent, especially in places like Nigeria. You ain't going to be able to walk 5 paces down the street without getting stopped by someone that you got to pay a bribe to. So you're not going to tell me that Dynast, who is someone who's never even lived in Nigeria, has a passport, making him a Nigerian, but at the same time, he never lived there. When there's clear criteria that says how long you have to live. I can't remember, so don't quote me on it, but I think it's up to 10 years that you have to live there in order to be able to get your citizenship. So I can see if he lived there for 8 years and then they kicked him up a couple of notches. I can see if he lived there for 7 years, but he dumped a whole bunch of money, he built some businesses and he created jobs and they said, okay, yeah, we got you. I can see if he lived there for 5 years, and he did whoop-de-whoop, but never lived there before and he got it. And so everybody wants to go to Dynast so that they can get paperwork. So I'm gonna tell you what Dynast gonna do. He gonna put you in contact with the same people that work the back rooms in order for him to get his paperwork, and then you're gonna get in trouble. That's when you're gonna lose your money. Listen, do you know how many Black Americans go to Africa, West Africa, every year, Ghana every year, and lose thousands of dollars in these damn citizenship scams, passport scams?
Okay, but Kobe,
Yeah.
do you have any? Did he say, "Hey, I can help you get your citizenship in Africa," or did he say, "I got my citizenship in Africa," and was more talking about that? Did Dynast ever insinuate that, "Hey, I'm going to be helping Black Americans get citizenship in Africa," or is it something you're assuming?
It was a conversation that he was having about doing tours, bringing people through, and also providing people with information that they need in order to get their citizenship. Because I mean, it's just something that he's been doing. I mean, there's no secret. I mean, people ask him, in the chat, so I want to get my citizenship. Oh yeah, I'll talk to you about that. I'll show you how to do it. Yeah, let's go to Nigeria. I'll show you around. So it's just, it wasn't like, I'm not saying that he's running like that's his number one job, like that's all I'm gonna do. No, it's just a part of the general conversation. Of course, if you get your citizenship, everybody's gonna want to know, how'd you do it? That's just that's a basic question. And so what I'm saying is that he is not somebody you should rely on in order to get information on how to get your citizenship. Because Dynast, he got his stuff the way he got it. But you can't go through Dynast people in order to do the same thing because they're gonna run your pockets. Don't do it. If you want to know how to get citizenship in Nigeria, go to a Nigerian immigration website, you read the criteria and you follow it word for word. And it's simple.
Okay.
And it's simple.
So let me ask you this though. All right. But still, I'm trying to find out though, what is the reason? I mean, I can understand you going back and forth with somebody, but what is still what is the purpose of you tagging the Nigerian? I mean, even though nothing happened, like what was that? I mean, still I don't understand the purpose in that.
Bruh, I don't understand why the feelings are so hurt for that thing. Talk to me about that though. I mean, I guess what you got to explain to me is, why is that just such a high treasonous thing to do? I mean,
are we answering questions with questions? I'm just trying to find out. I mean, you're the one that did it. So I'm trying to find out what was the purpose.
It was a rhetorical question.
Mm-hmm.
It was a rhetorical question. So what I'm saying is, why is that so high treasonous? Why is that such a big deal? I can't understand why brothers are filibustering with that one topic. Okay, in this conversation right now, why don't you tag American immigration? and see if I care.
That's not the question. The question is,
No.
no. You're talking about other things that are. We're not talking about all of that stuff. The point is, I'm asking you, what was the point? And then this is not anything else. What was the point of? Okay, I'm having a conversation. I'm trying to find out, why did you feel the need to do that? That's what I'm dealing with. I'm not dealing with anything else. What was important enough for you? Why was that important? Whether or not the outcome was meaningless or not.
I gotta give you the answer. To me, it's meaningless. It's meaningless.
So you did it because it was meaningless.
It don't mean anything to me. It's not a big deal. I never expected an outcome. Whatever.
Okay.
It's not a, to me, for you guys, it's a big deal. For you guys, y'all's heads are exploding, y'all are vomiting, y'all are running in the street. For me, it just don't matter. I just don't care. So I'm trying to find out how you guys are pressing the panic button and jumping out the window. I'm like, so what?
Want me to answer that?
Yeah, I would like to know.
I'm very glad that, number one, it's not that it's a panic button, it's just the audacity. Why would you even do that? It doesn't make, even you can't explain why you did it, because you can't explain why you did it, because it was stupid. Doesn't make any sense. That's why you can't explain it. It was retarded, right? It comes from a position of, I don't know, I'm angry, or I'm being emotional, or I'm not logically thinking. It just didn't make any sense as to why you did it, and you can't justify it. So that's why you want to. No, you can't justify it. It doesn't make any sense. You can't justify why you did it, because it didn't make any sense. That's the truth. So why people are so on a panic button has nothing to do with them, but has everything to do with your actions. What you did was incredibly dumb. It was stupid. It made no sense. So it's not these people's fault. It's your fault. And that's why. And it comes to be accountability. You actually had no business doing that regardless of the situation. It was not your business to do that. It wasn't your business to tag them. Had nothing to do with you. What you did was uncalled for. It was unquestionable. It was dumb. That's the point. So instead of you being a man and saying, I shouldn't have did, we was arguing, whatever, it was dumb, whatever, I shouldn't have did it. That's what you should be saying. Other than trying to make excuses for bad behavior. That's what and that is the truth. You fucked up. You took an L. That's what it was.
What I'm trying to tell you, well, Ken, listen, let me respond. What I'm trying to tell you is that I never even thought about it. Like, from that day, I never even thought about it. And then on top of that, we were trading.
Right now. So you're thinking about it right now, right? And right now,
yeah, but
you're a smart guy. You're tomorrow.
Okay, but you're not even let me talk. What I'm saying is that we were trading insults that day. So it's not like I did that out the blue. We were going back and forth, and we were both insulting one another. So, if he said some stupid shit to me, I said some stupid shit to him, whatever. I can't even remember all the insults. Again, I hadn't even thought about it since that day. So if you guys want, if you guys want me to make a public apology, I don't have a problem with doing that. Look, was it stupid? I can agree it was stupid. Was it something that I shouldn't have done? Yeah, I shouldn't have done it. You should never look. There's been a whole bunch of shit I've done online. There's been a whole bunch of people I've cussed out online. There's been a whole bunch of people I've said stupid shit online. But if you say some stupid shit to me, I'm gonna say some stupid shit back. So if you upset about the stupid shit that I said to somebody, then okay, look, I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I've done that a lot in terms of just saying stupid shit online to people who say stupid shit on me. But I'm not just gonna come out the blue and just do some ratchet shit online. If you say something to me that I think is out of pocket, I'm gonna say something to you that's out of pocket. And if you take it to heart, okay, I'm sorry, Dynast. But but here's the thing, Dynast. Don't come at me and say no stupid shit.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. We can move on from there. All right, so now we got that out the way. But let's go back to the other point. The point is this: you feel like, okay, and I'll agree to you in this case. Such situations are leading Black Americans down a wrong path. That just because person A got it, person B, C, D, or E has been in the same position and have not gotten it, which leads me to believe that if you go with person A is likely to take advantage over other African Americans who will go down the path of disappointment going into the African system, although they know nothing about being on African the ground. I believe that is your other point. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay,
You know, there's a way to do business in Africa. Mm-hmm. And the way that you do business in Africa is outlined in documentation, in legal documentation. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why that's just so hard for people to understand. Mm-hmm. You know, you asked the question the other night. You said, well, you made a statement and you wanted to know how I felt about it. You said something to the effect of, you know, there's people who go to Africa or to Ghana and you see them as being, I don't know. I can't remember what you said. You know what I mean? Just pretty much kind of lowbrow shit. You know what I mean? They're over there hustling and just kind of doing just some wrong stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I was very diplomatic with the way that I answered that question. If you remember. Now, here's the thing. The reality is that you have a lot of people who go there who are retirees, who are pensioners. Okay. Right? Okay. Everything is cool with them. Mm-hmm. But then you do have a lot of young people over there who are doing things while they're getting around and skirting the system. Okay. And a lot of times it's not their fault. The reason why a lot of times it's not their fault is because they meet a whole bunch of other Africans who trying to get chopped. Chopped meaning, you know, bribes, just money. People don't have jobs. So if you need to register your car, you need to get a driver's license, you need to get a passport, you need to get residency. I don't care what it is that you need to do. Whatever you need to do, you're going to meet somebody who can put you in touch with somebody that can get that paperwork done for you and get you at the front of the line. That's just the bottom line. But here's the problem. When you do that, you run the risk of getting your pockets run, or you run the risk of getting caught and getting jailed. And that's when they just create this fake crisis, and then you find yourself in jail or deported. So I encourage everybody, all Black Americans who are thinking about going to Africa, to any African country, to make sure that you go to the websites. Like, for example, let me address some other stuff, that I heard on the show. Like, Dynast was saying, I don't know about this whole $500,000 thing, Listen, man, like, why do people think I just make this stuff up?
No, everybody is true. What you're saying is true. I know.
Why do I have to be making stuff up?
Mm-hmm. No, that's true.
What's the incentive that I have to lie? Mm-hmm. I don't have any incentive to lie. All you have to do, just go to Google and type in GIPC. Again, that's GIPC requirements for business ownership in Ghana. And you're going to see it in black and white. And so what did Dynast say? I know people who are in Ghana who are doing business and they didn't have to put up 500 stacks. Okay, well, how did they do it? They're doing illegal business. I know people who are over there who are skirting the system. Mm-hmm. Because you can meet people who can take you to the business registration department and you can get your business registered for nothing. Mm-hmm. So if you want to do it, you can. Look, the vast majority of people who going over there, let's keep it a buck. People, the Black Americans who are over there who are setting up business, most of them, man, they not putting up 500. They ain't putting up half that. They got somebody who's running the paperwork and it's all good. But that don't make it legal, O'Shea. So okay. I'm not lying.
I would agree.
You know what I mean? But when you get caught, you're not going to have the legal protection of the courts because they're going to want to see your paperwork and you can't sue nobody. That's the scam. So what they try to do is they try to get you to register a business there so that they can rob you and then you can't go to the judge. Because when you get to the judge, they're gonna say, okay, well, are you here legally? Did you register your paperwork properly? No. Well, you have no case. Look, y'all better stop playing these games. Going over here to Africa, skirting the system, you're gonna find yourself in a bad situation. Now, also, let me address this other thing. And even on the message board, I saw a lot of people talking about this thing. Oh, he went over there and he started $1 million business. Why'd he leave? Look, I don't know how many entrepreneurs that you guys have in the room. But when you make money as an entrepreneur, I got news for you. You don't put the money in your pocket. Not all of it. You got to put it back on the table.
That's true.
You reinvest. So I went over there with one excavator. I made enough money. I made 100,000. Did I put it in my pocket? No. I bought another excavator. I made another 100. What did I do with it? I bought another excavator. That's $300,000. I ain't got no damn cash. But the value of the company is $300,000. I made more money. I bought 4. I bought 5. I bought 6. I had 14 excavators. I got $1 million business. When the mining industry collapsed, I liquidated everything. So I was able to pull some cash out, but I didn't have $1 million no more. But I never had that in cash in the first place. It was all in assets. Then I took it to Liberia, and I had no idea that the Ebola crisis was about to blow up. How would I know that? So I built the house there, bought land there. I was about to start another operation, then boom, whoosh, and it was gone. Where's the confusion in that, though? Like, how is that a lie? How am I being surreptitious? How am I trying to be evasive with that? It is what it is. So for people to try to discredit me by saying, "Oh well, you were a gold miner and you left," oh, that's fishy. All right. If that's your smoking gun, then okay, what can I say? So I guess you guys got a smoking gun on me that I started mining operations, but I don't have $1 million in my pocket. When I explained to everybody,
I get that. I wouldn't. We understand how that. Those of us who've been in business and know how it works, I don't think there's any reason to write about that. I think you're
it's not an issue, man. It's a non-issue.
You're lying about that. So here's the bigger issue that we're talking about today is here's what I want to know because you are adamant that African Americans we come from. Okay, let me ask you this, Kobe. Would you say, according to the ADOS, which is people like me and you? Let's get where our ADOS folks at, right? Because I love y'all. A hashtag ADOS if you're in the chat room, all right? The ADOS family, press 6 or something like press 7. Press 7 for the ADOS people in the building. Let us know that you're in here. You say that our people originate from Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, those places in West Africa. Do we come from these places genetically? Yes. Okay.
Yes. Black Americans are genetically from West and Central Africa, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Okay. So then my question is this, Brother Kobe, and you're a person that lived there. I've never lived in Africa. You have that experience. I don't. Why, if we do get citizenship in those places genetically, if we do have birthright there in some certain cases, why is it a problem that we don't get citizenship? I mean, I understand the current laws, but if we were taken away from those lands to begin with, why is it a problem if one of our people are able to come over to Africa? Because here's the thing, right? Africans come over and get rights from our people all the time. I mean, that would be my response because they certainly can come in and benefit from the systems that African Americans have fought for in our country. They're presidents of our HBCUs now. They can come and act in our movies and stuff, and they don't contribute anything. So why is it that a lot of times they don't even qualify for certain things and they get it all the time in many cases? But there's a problem with a brother like, let's say, Dynast or somebody else who is just basically returning the favor, in my opinion, which is something that we should have been owed because we've been helping do certain things for a long time. Why is there a problem in your opinion with that?
Well, first of all, let me say this.
Mhm.
I listened to Dynast speak a little bit, and I saw some things come through the chat, and people were saying that I was insulting Africans. And as a matter of fact, that's what Dynast said, that I'm like I'm an African hater or something like that. I was very respectful yesterday in the chat. I never insulted anyone. I just told facts.
Your wife's African, right?
Yeah. So I was never insulting anyone. And then as a matter of fact, you asked me a question. You said, should some of us go back to Africa? And what did I say? I said, absolutely.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
I mean, again, like, I'm confused about this whole thing. I said, go to Africa. I'm encouraging Black Americans to get passports and go to Africa. Go there, get married to an African if that's what you want to do. Go there for business. Go there for pleasure. Have fun. I only said that when you go there as yourself.
Okay.
Where's the confusion? Just go there as yourself. If you O'Shea Duke Jackson in the US, be O'Shea Duke Jackson when you get to Nigeria. And that's it. Now, in terms of these African countries creating all these barriers to entry, you see, that's what they do. They're very protective of their economy. They're very protective of their resources. They're very protective of their assets. And in order for you to get in and rise to the top of their society, man, listen, you're going to have to be a very special person. You're going to have to pay bribes, something. But they keep you out of economies. So that's why I'm saying that Dynast is wrong when it comes to this Pan-African snake oil that he's selling to brothers, because at the end of the day, you're not going to get no tangibles. They don't even see you as African. You're not, listen, I explained all this yesterday. You're not going to be able to have a Second Amendment. You're not going to be able to have First Amendment. You're not going to be, buying land is going to be a headache. It's going to be a big scam. Good luck if you can do it. You're not going to be able to get citizenship. Only 1 out of 1 million of you going to get that. And if you try, you're going to get scammed. You're just going to go through the meat grinder. There are no tangibles there. There is no direct path. If you want to go over there and do business, like in Ghana, as I explained, go to the GIPC website, you'll see the criteria. So it's very difficult. Why? You ask why? Because they are a tribal society, O'Shea. And in tribal societies, they protect resources to make sure that only their tribe benefits. So it's only.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, what I want to know is this thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your point.
Well, basically, I want to say it's only Black Americans who don't think with a tribal mindset. We think, we're all Black, so we're all one people. So yeah, y'all just come on in and just take whatever you want. But they're gonna take. They're gonna take whatever they want off of our dinner table. But then when we get to their house, we can't eat whatever we want off of their dinner table because they're thinking tribally, and we're not. And it's as simple as that. And I can't see why we're not offended by that. Yeah, but go ahead, ask your question.
So, let me kind of talk about some other things with what we're talking about. The culture situation, that's another perspective that Dynast and you fundamentally disagree on. I think that it's clear that both people are talking about you can go to Africa. Both people are talking about their opportunities in Africa. Both of you are on the same page there. But the difference fundamentally is that African Americans have no culture. African Americans do not own or distribute this culture. I think I'm saying this word from word per Dynast. And that is your situation. That is his fundamental disagreement. But I think all of this this is the biggest problem. You're saying that African Americans not only own a culture, but they distribute that culture because other people in Africa want to be African Americans. That's your point. I think this is where we're having the buttings of the head. So let's talk about Dynast's perspective on African Americans not owning their own culture, the Jews having ownership to it. Let's talk about that. What do you mean? What's your answer to that?
You see, this is kind of the thing that gets me and Dynast butting heads in the first place. See, this is the kind of thing that he does that makes me butt heads with him. And when he says stuff like that, see, I take it as an insult. But then when I insult him back, then all of a sudden, you know, he jumping out the window. So, okay, I guess I can't insult Dynast no more because he's going to be a crybaby about it. So I'm sorry, Dynast, that I hurt your feelings. But at the end of the day, when you are in Africa, man, look, Dynast is so self-righteous now that he's a Nigerian, that he's just shitting on Black Americans and they make it seem like we just nothing. And then now his Nigerian side, they just got everything. When you got these Chinese cats selling Chinese-made dashikis, you got these Chinese cats selling Chinese-made kente cloth. You got these Lebanese cats selling Lebanese-made Adinkra prints. Man, look, the biggest money makers of African culture, I'm talking about like traditional cultural attire, man, it's them Lebanese over there making money. You don't think so? Man,
well, I know that.
So what's Dynast? Yeah, so what's Dynast talking about? Man, Woodeem. You know what I mean? There's a company in Ghana called Woodeem. Is that owned by Ghanaians? Man, stop. So you know, you got white boys who are in the music industry over there who are cutting checks to these guys. Man, look, white people, Europeans, Chinese, Lebanese, everybody is over there making money in all facets of business. You got Indian cats over there who own entire networks for television networks out there, controlling the culture. What are you talking about? So, I mean, the same problems that we as Black Americans face with regards to culture vultures, Africans face the same thing. I just don't understand why Dynast is trying to make it seem as though he's levitating above us, Black Americans, and we don't have nothing. Well, that's the problem that I have with him.
Okay,
and I get tired of him. You know, this is what happens with a lot of people who. It's the arrogance of Pan-Africanists. They go back to Africa. You know, they'll meet with a couple of spiritual leaders who will do some juju ritual on them and give them a new name, and then before you know it, they think they're better than Black Americans, and then they want to talk down to us and tell us how much better they are and how we don't know nothing. And that's what Dynast is doing. If you listen to the way he talks, even when he was talking on your show, he's always very dismissive of Black American people. And I just don't dig
it. But in what ways is he dismissive of Black American people? Like, can you give me an example?
On your show, when I logged in your show, he was discounting Black American culture. Basically saying, what kind of culture are you talking about? Like, that ain't culture. This ain't culture. Like, Nigerians, we got real culture over here. Y'all just got entertainment. I can't remember, you know, the exact words. Oh, all y'all got is just. I've actually even heard him say what I've heard him say on his show. Oh, Black American culture is trap culture. I mean, come on, man. Why you sit up here and say that Black American culture is just trap culture? Why would he talk about his own people that way? Good for you, Dynast, that you went over there and you got a new name and that you was installed as a chief and all that stuff and you got your passport. But that don't mean that you got to talk down to Black American people. Because again, let me tell y'all something. Everybody in the chat, listen up. Dynast an African now, right? Is he going to move to Africa and renounce his American citizenship? Hell no. He won't do it. He hates America so much, just like all the other hoteps do. He hates America, right? He don't like it. This ain't his country. This ain't his land. And he's encouraging everybody to go to Africa, go to Africa, go to Africa. Oh, come on. But why don't you ask Dynast why he's not willing to renounce his American citizenship and see what he say? And see, that is one of the reasons why I don't mess around with the hoteps, because I find them to be disingenuous. And just like I asked you yesterday on the show, tell me which one of these hoteps, he's a Nigerian, well, Dynast is a Nigerian. I don't know what tribe I think it's Yoruba, right? He's a Yoruba chief now, right?
I believe so.
If he's in Yoruba land and the war pop off, what are you gonna do? He gonna fight with them Yorubas? He headed to the U.S. Embassy, Daddy-O. He gonna leave them Yorubas to fend for themselves. He gonna come back to the U.S. in time enough to go to the conclave to shimmy with the noobs.
Okay, let me talk about like hating the United States. I've never heard him say that, or that blacks should move to Africa per se. I have seen a stream of Dynast that talks about, investments are good, real estate and stuff like that. But really, the whole gist of it is the whole beef is behind, do African Americans have culture or not? Right now, let me get back to your point of when you're in Africa and you make this point. If I have the Black America, shout out to blackamerican.com. If I have a Black American shirt on, and if I'm in Ghana, I'm not going to show up to the club with, let's talk about that, right? Because talk to me about that scenario again. That's a pretty good point.
Yeah, basically, I was just messing around. I just said, like when you go to Africa, man, you just want to be yourself. You know what I mean? You just want to be cool. Basically, the point that I was making is, man, why would you want to go to the club, with a dashiki on or a batakari on, when you could just dress like you do in Sacramento? Because the girls are going to be sweating you. They're not going to be sweating brothers, who got on who are Black Americans who got on African attire trying to be Africans. So I was just making a joke. And basically all I was just saying was just be who you are, man, because Africans love you just the way you are. They don't want you playing these African games. And Dynast wants you to play these African games. Dynast wants you to go over there changing your name. Dynast wants you to go over there and leave your damn religion and getting yourself involved with juju magic. He wants you to go over there and wear traditional clothing. He wants you to just totally abandon 400 years of Black American history and just be a Yoruba again. But sometimes you just can't put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
What do you mean when you say that?
We cannot be African again. That's what I'm saying. We are American. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing to me that I even have to argue this point. It's amazing to me that I even have to sit up here and address the issue. We are fundamentally American. We were here before this country was even formed. We landed here in 1619. The country was formed in 1776. We were here for more than 150 years before the country was even founded as a nation. So we're literally indigenous to this country. We are part of every piece and parcel of this nation. And there's no reason why we should abandon our legacy, abandon our birth. He was even saying that Africa is our birthright. America is our birthright.
So why don't you feel that Africa is also our birthright, though? Why don't we have claims to both?
I don't have a problem with having, I don't have a problem with Black Americans wanting to go back to Africa and do business. Look, I went back. I went there. I own land there. I built a crib there. You see what I mean? So clearly I don't have a problem with that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit up here and change my identity for it. I'm going to affirm my Black Americanness. What I'm saying is that if you're going to go over there with the idea that you have a birthright, then make sure that you go over there in a position of strength, not weakness. But if you go over there like, oh, well, you see, with that, again, with the sob story, if you go over there with the puppy dog eyes telling this sad story of, well, you know, my ancestors were slaves, and you know, I was, now I've returned after 400 years, and you know, and I did a DNA test, so please accept me into your tribe, please. If you're going over there with that type of mentality, look, man, they're gonna run game on you. I've seen it so many times, over and over and over again. You guys in the chat room, listen up. You guys are sitting up here and you're watching Dynast, and he's selling you guys this dream. And unfortunately, it's the dream that you want to hear. Because you want to be accepted by Africans so bad. You want to run from America so bad and just think that it's just going to be so easy for you when you get to Africa, but it's not the case. I told you, if you can't make it in the United States of America, odds are you're not going to make it in Africa. And that's not for everybody. Because there are individuals like myself who was successful in Africa. I built a business there. I made money. I built a crib. I got married. I had my child out there. I got land out there. So that's success. But there's a lot of people who are not going to be able to do that. There's a lot of people who are going to go over there. They're going to get game run on them. And then they're going to run back to the U.S. with their tail between their legs.
Okay.
And Dynast is, and the thing is that just listen to Dynast the way he talks. Is always just all rosy, man. I mean, you know, he ain't giving people game. So if you go back and you listen to the show that I did last night, I dropped game, jewels. And so if you listen to me today, I'm gonna give you game. So that when you go over there, you go over there with your antennas up, with your eyes wide open. But you won't go over there with the foolishness, trying to get around the system, paying bribes, and using an African name. It's a confidence, it's a confidence scam. Look, when you sit up here and you take this African name, man, they got you. They got you trapped. They got you flying their flag. They got you wearing their clothes. And then you're just gonna say yes to whatever. And you're gonna give up the money, and then boom, you're out of here.
Okay, let me ask you this question, Kobe. In your opinion, those people who are wanting to go back to Africa and actually, you know, start a business, and so Lou Obataya, I'm going to read your super chat here after this. I thank you so much for the support. Get the likes up. Hold on a second. 425 people. Why don't we have likes on my stuff? All right. Can we get the likes up on the video? Okay. Please, Hotep, get the likes up. All right. It's 96. Okay, and then tomorrow at the Sunday Rumble is gonna be popping. Get the likes up on the video. Let me ask you this: in your experience, those people who come to Ghana because you live there in Liberia, those African Americans who come there and want to do business and want to set things up, they expect one thing. What's the percentage of those people who actually succeed and stay? I'm gonna take away the retirees, right? We know the pensioners, they can make it. But out of those people who are not pensioners, who are the people who can who actually go to Africa and survive and have to come back?
A very, very, very small percentage. It's a very small, it's a very a small percentage that make it. Most of the brothers who go over there are, it's like you said, again, I was being diplomatic. Right? But they over there bumming it. They're over there roughing it, heavy. Look, man, y'all playing games over here in this chat room. Look, there ain't gonna be no running water. Lights gonna be out, especially in Nigeria. Nigeria is even worse than Ghana in terms of power. Lights gonna be out for weeks. You know, there ain't no, doctors go on strike. And you're not going to get no job. because nobody's going to hire you unless you're going over there to work for some major corporation. So if you get with Dynast just because, oh, I ain't no American, oh, I hate it, you know, I want to leave America, I want to go, you know, where the grass is greener, and then you go over there with Dynast, what are you going to do to sustain yourself in Africa? It's expensive. Y'all don't know that. Y'all see, y'all playing around. Y'all think, oh, it's Africa, man. I can go over there with a couple $100 and live for 6 years. Okay, you'll be broke.
You said a couple $100 and live for 6 years, huh?
Yeah, people think. Look, O'Shea, people think a lot of stupid stuff about Africa. They think that they could just take some small money over there. Even like my own family, when they came out to visit me, they only came with with a limited amount of money, just a small amount of money. And they were surprised to see just how expensive it was to stay in our crop. You know, they were shocked to see the accommodation. So if you want accommodations, oh, you're going to pay US dollars. But now, if you want to go out and live in the bush in the middle of nowhere, then fine. You don't need a lot of money. You can, but that's why you got cats who are rough in it. So you're going to go to Africa and your standard of your living is going to be dramatically low than what you was enjoying even in Section 8 housing in the US. At least when you was in the projects, at least you was in Section 8 housing, your lights was on. You had running water. You know what I mean? Like, but when you get over there, I'm just telling the truth, O'Shea. So why are you going to go over there?
It's true.
And you're going to live in conditions that are beneath your American standard. And then you still don't have access to a job. You don't have First Amendment. You don't have Second Amendment rights. You can't start a business. And everything you got to do is through bribes. It would make sense that if you went over there, they had some type of package set up to where you could enter the economy. You could enter the nation in a way to where you can begin to prosper. But you're going to be on your own. So stop playing these games when you talk about going to Africa, thinking that it's going to be easy. It will not be. You got to have a network and you got to have a real hustle to make real money, or you're going to be back in the US. Daddy. I stayed there for 6 years. Most of y'all won't make it that long. And then here's the thing. Not only are you going to be, you know, roughing it, but you're going to deal with some bona fide, just, I'm using my words carefully. This is a family program. Negro stuff. That's going to drive you absolutely crazy. It's going to frustrate you out of your world. So why would you? You're gonna look. What I'm, you know, to sum it up, what I'm saying is that, you know, you got 3 types of Black American people. You got the Black American who is looking for validation from white folks. Mm-hmm. You got the Black American who's looking for validation from Africans.
That's true.
And then you got the Black American who don't need validation from nobody because he accepts himself as he is. Mm-hmm. You got Dynast over here talking about, oh, these Captain American Negroes, you know, they just over here trying to look for validation from white zaddy, right? Just like he over here trying to look for validation from the African zaddy. It's the same side, you know, it's a different side of the same coin. So either you looking for to get validation from white folks, or you looking to get validation and acceptance from Africans. It's sickening. And it makes me sick to see my brothers, Black American brothers, go over there with such a low self-esteem and need Africans and to make them feel whole again and to give them a sense of identity. It's embarrassing. So I'm sorry for sitting up here trying to tell Black American people, look, you are beautiful. You are talented. You are world renowned. The whole world loves you. The whole world wants to be you. You have so many opportunities in the United States. Mm-hmm. that Africa is begging for. Yet you want to switch places with them? Let me tell you a story. I was walking in Kumasi, downtown Kumasi, a place called Idum. And as I was walking, about to go shopping, I saw this long, long, long line of people. And so, as I looked further down, I saw an American flag and I saw a big sign of Barack Obama. And I was like, man, what are these guys doing? So I wouldn't ask them. I said, yo, what is this line for? And they said, we're playing the American lottery. I had never heard of that before. I didn't even know that they had a lottery system set up. So I said, what do you mean you playing the American lottery? He said, yeah. He said, we sign all this paperwork, we do all this stuff, and then we get to go to America and work. If I tell you that there were people wrapped around the building for blocks and blocks and blocks, it's no exaggeration. So I walked away from that scratching my head like, these people are trying to get out of here. But Dynast trying to get you to go there?
I mean, is he trying to get you to go to visit? I mean, let's be honest. Dynast is not telling people you need to move to Africa. That's not his. I don't think it's his message as much as trying. His channel is more or lessly trying to bring the diaspora and in Africa together. That's my intention. I don't think that he's a person that deals with repatriation. Now, why Dynast does deal with people who do deal in repatriation, the BAIO and Bomani, I can't necessarily say that's what Dynast's goal is. Dynast's goal is not to repatriate people to Africa, but to bring people together on his platform, and more or less for him to, like for me. All right, I can tell you, for example, I wasn't a person that ever thought I would be doing what I'm doing in Africa, which is nothing in comparison to what you were doing, right? But he got me to want to, at least, because I was always talking about coming, at least it was already in me, but to take the step. T. Kelly is another person, right? I don't think that he's ever said to T. Kelly, you need to go ahead and move to Africa. Now, he does have people on there that you talk about that. One of the guys you talk about, so I got to at least defend him on that. I don't think that's what he's saying. But I do feel that to the point you're talking about, kind of accepting the African culture, meeting the Dynast does have a high regard for African priesthood, and that I can see more or less. And I don't really give a damn about none of that shit. To be honest, I don't care about those. I don't care about the any of that stuff. To me, it doesn't matter. But he does have that kind of influence, like, I'm over here with the Dogons or whatever. So I want to make that clear.
Right. Well, you know what? That's cool, and I accept that. But you know what he does? I have 2 points. Number one, he rolls with those cats who are into, just like the what's his name from the other day? The guy in Amon.
Amin Ra. Amin Ra. Did you see that Twitter? Somebody tagged you on Twitter. Did you see what that video clip?
No, I didn't.
You gotta you'll laugh when you see it, but
you see what I'm saying? Like, he rolls in the circles with those guys who, because again, like I said last night, the cats like that said, oh, we need to leave America in mass. Just like Amon Ra said, oh, do you know that America's greatest fear is that Black Americans will leave in mass? He sells that snake oil. And then I sit up here and I listen to that like, man, y'all got to stop talking this nonsense, about leaving America in mass. That's what gets me upset. That's what gets me in my feelings, because I don't want Black Americans listening to that rubbish. And it's all rubbish. So if Dynast is simply trying to bridge a gap and trying to educate Black Americans on Africans and educate Africans on Black Americans and make sure that we communicate with one another and meet one another and do business with one another, and he wants to be that broker, I'm cool with that. But why is Dynast always downing America, downing Black American people, downing Black American culture and all that? You know what I mean? It's like, I also encourage Black Americans to go to Africa. I also encourage Black Americans to do business there. I also encourage, if you want to find love there, go there. I also encourage you to go there and build it, do whatever you want to do. But you ain't never going to catch me just saying Black Americans don't have culture. And then putting you on the hot seat. O'Shea, well, prove to me what Black American culture is. What is it?
Okay. And let me just say this, Kobe. I go to Dynast's channel a lot. Not a lot, but I'm in the streams a lot. I've heard, when it comes to ADOS,
right?
Dynast takes, what up, Jamarius? He takes a lot of the same talking points that you have taken. And I've heard Africans say the same things you're saying about him that he's saying about Black Americans. Anybody who remember when Dynast talks about how Africans, it's not like he don't call them out. He spends a great deal of them calling them Africans, Africoons, all kind of stuff. Like, I've heard people say the same thing you're saying about him as how he shits on their, how he's talking down on African Americans. They say the same thing about him. I mean, to be fair.
So you're saying that they say that he talks down on Black Americans?
No, they say that he talks down on Africans. I've seen them say that. I've seen them say that his content is divisive when it comes to Africans. So I mean, to be fair, I've heard the arguments on both sides from people who are, it's not like this is just a one-sided thing. This is the first time I've heard more from you, but I hear more of those arguments all the time. On Dynast is really tough on Africans, but I don't know if you listen to how much content he is, but he talks a lot of shit about them.
Well, this is what I've listened to Dynast for a while, and this is what I was telling one of my boys. The more and more Dynast, here's the thing: his content has changed over time.
Okay.
And as time has gone on, he's been able to see the real game. So he ain't been able to see it like I do because he hasn't lived there yet. But as I started watching him talk one day, I said, yeah, now he learning. Now he learning. You know what I mean? So yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But
so,
you think that he is more, but in his approach, you feel that his approach, he's more towards the African approach than he is towards people like people who are more bold about being African Americans. And even though we are in Africa, we are more African American based than African based.
Right.
Like you are.
Right. I would say that I'll say this so that you can understand like where my pulse is, right? You're a doctor, so I'll explain it to you that way. So you can know exactly where my pulse is. What's going to make me go off? What makes me go off is the topic of identity. I don't care what you want to do. I don't care where you want to go. I don't care who. I don't care. If you mess with me and tell me that I got to be an African, I got to call myself an African, I got to get an African name, fine, we got problems. Because I simply do not believe that I have to be an African to get anything done on the continent of Africa. And I do not appreciate Dynast encouraging Black American people to accept African culture, African anything, African clothing, African anything. If he wants to get Black American people to go to Nigeria, just say, yo, man, I'm going, y'all come on through. This is, but don't be like, oh man, change your name, do this, do that. Forget all that. Accept us as, this is what I'm saying to Dynast, because I know that he's gonna watch this. Dynast, you accept Black Americans as they are. Stop trying to convert us to, your culture. Because we shouldn't have to do that in order to go. We shouldn't have to do that in order to be accepted. We shouldn't have to do that in order to do business, to get married, to buy land. It shouldn't have to be that way. Why is there this conversion narrative? And why is he lording Native African culture over Black American culture? So just leave Black American culture alone and let us have our lane. And then you go with the Nigerians and you have your lane. Let people be who they are.
Right.
And that's my only issue. Let people be who they are. And everybody who's a Black American who's listening should just stay who you are. And that's that right there.
Let me ask you this. Some people going to say, hey man, well listen, you have a white man's name though. And is that who you are? I mean,
I'm so glad you said that. You just made my day by saying that. You see, let me tell you something. God is just powerful and he works in mysterious ways. You tell me a name that is more glorious. I challenge you to tell me a name that is more powerful, that is more prestigious than Harriet Tubman. Tell me a name that's that has more respect than Frederick Douglass? Tell me a name that channels more bravery than Nat Turner.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that you're ashamed of the name Nat Turner, and then you want to go out and change your name to Akatachie? What? It's an issue of low self-esteem. Just because you have a low self-esteem and you're ashamed of Nat Turner, don't try to put that shame on us.
Mm-hmm.
Because the problem is that you're not looking at it from the right perspective. The problem with the Black American is that he has a problem with perspective. You see the word Nat Turner and you see that as, oh, he's a slave. I see him as a freedom fighter. Dynast will see the name of Harriet Tubman. He said, oh, that's a slave name. That's a freedom fighting name right there. You know,
I don't think he would say that. I don't think he would say that.
Well, look, he got to say it because he has to say that Harriet Tubman is a slave name. He's gonna say it. He's gonna have to say that Nat Turner is a slave name. He's gonna have to say that Frederick Douglass is a slave name. But see, that's the way he views Black American people. He views Black American people the same way that these racist Nigerians view us, as slaves, as akatas. So he doesn't have any respect for the fact that we took that name and made it great. The same way that we take the situation that we were in this country and we turned it into something good. You know, Bob Marley, he has a song. I forgot. It's like the stone that the builder refused. If you guys in the chat, if y'all familiar with that song, Bob Marley has a song, and he sings a song about his father, who was a white man, who basically abandoned him and didn't want nothing to do with him. But then Bob Marley blows up, and Bob Marley took that slave name Marley and made it global, to where now, if you say the name Marley, you think of Bob Marley. You don't think about no white Marleys. If you say the name Douglas, you think Frederick Douglass. You don't think about no white Douglasses. If you say the name Tubman, you think Harriet Tubman. So I'm not going to sit up here and trade these beautiful names, these glorious names, these names that I champion for an African name. His people who say things like that, they just have a messed up perspective. They have a messed up perspective about it.
I would never change my name to an African name either.
What's the point?
I'm
proud of my name.
Yeah, no. I mean, even though and under the context in which you received it, I would never change my name either. So because, and I'm a person that's in Africa, been here for a month, and I obviously I keep coming back. So something that I like, but I could never see myself. I would never allow somebody to give me a different name or something like that, because for the fact is, I need to represent where I am now. You know what I mean? And I think that's very important for me to have an identity that is different than others.
Right.
But that don't mean though, because I think there's even Nigerians that shout out to the Yoruba slave history, because a lot of those people went to Brazil, and you have a lot of people that came back to Brazil from Nigeria that still have Portuguese last names, but they're completely Nigerian. So yeah, I mean,
Black Americans are the only ones. You know something, man? There's something interesting about being a Black American, and that is that Black Americans are the only one who gets trashed with this slave narrative. You know what I mean? You got Black people all over Brazil, Black people all over Jamaica, Black people all over the Caribbean, Black people in Africa who have these Western names, but at the same time, they don't get considered. They're not considered to be slaves. You had chattel slavery in the United States of America, but don't get it twisted. You had colonial slavery in Africa. So how you going to sit up here and tell me that them white boys who were Belgians who went over there and enslaved those brothers in the Belgian Congo, and what was the number that they killed over there? Like 10 million?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, but that was better than our experience. So you know what I mean? And so you got a lot of these brothers over there in the Belgian Congo who got Belgian names today. But I'm a slave? I mean, come on. Every Black person across the globe has been impacted more or less by racism and white supremacy. We've all had to deal with it, whether you were a chattel slave in the United States or whether you were a colonial slave in Africa. You took an L. They took your country in Africa. They took your resources, and they changed your name. You got a lot of Africans who can't even speak their own native language. You got a lot of Africans who don't know nothing about their traditional religion. So they have changed dramatically, and we have too. But we can't go back in time and fix none of that. And that's all I'm trying to say. That we don't have a time machine that we can jump in and go back in time and fix these things so that we could be the people that we were 500 years ago. That's going back in time. Why should we go back in time anyway? Why should we go backwards? And so what I'm telling Black American people is that I'm not encouraging us to go backwards. As I explained, Black American culture looks forward, because this is one of the things that Dynast pretended like he didn't understand when he was on the live stream with you. What is Black American culture? What is Black American culture? I'll tell you again, Dynast, what Black American culture is so that you can finally understand. You can't look at Black American culture from the prism of African culture, because we are polar opposites of African culture. Black American culture does not look to the past. See, African culture is rooted in antiquity, and Africans do what their fathers have done for hundreds of years. And the fact that they dress like their fathers did, they speak like their fathers did, they do the same ceremonies and customs that their grandfathers did, that is what makes them grounded in their identity, and they're proud of that. And I'm happy for them. But Black American culture is not set up that way. Slavery, American chattel slavery, totally ripped those traditions, customs from us. And because we were ripped from those traditions, we were ripped from that box. We're not anchored in antiquity. So Black American culture is a free-formed culture that's always turning over, that's always expressing anew, and that's always looking towards the future. So we are a future-looking people, so we can't look back to the past and say that we want to be African again. That goes against our culture anyway. We need to look towards the future. And that's all I'm trying to tell Black American people. Look towards the future. Don't look back. Saying that you're an African is looking back. You're trying to put Humpty Dumpty together again. And that's what Dynast is trying to get you to do, and it can't be done.
Okay. Let me do this. Let me shout out to some people. Matt Blaylock. How can we talk about changing names, but we still call each other the N-word? Shout out to the brother Matt Blaylock. Solo Obatayu. What is wrong with the African name? When Malcolm X said ADOS name is a slave name and needed to be changed. To the point. Trady Brewski. His basic message is: we go to Africa, keep it simple, stupid. Be realistic about your options and your abilities, which is limited. J-Rod, real talk. Nana Welbeck, $10. Devon Smiley, Kobe preaching facts. Don't make a decision you're going to regret. Hashtag ADOS 2020. Joey T, thank you so much. Real Brother Radio. Real Brother, you are one crazy motherfucker, but I'll tell you what, on my shows, me and you have found some good chemistry, brother. You are crazy. Solo Batayo. ADOS want African and America to assimilate, but ADOS don't want to assimilate while in Africa. Brother Moses, Morehouse man can't never just give a simple answer to a direct question. LOL. No, y'all niggas be, hello, how you doing? Well, brother, I believe that intellectually I'm doing okay, but physically, brother, Solo Batayu, it does not make sense to renounce your American citizenship. America is the richest country. Jews don't even renounce their American citizenship. Thank you so much. Akatunde Bowden, a Lebanese billionaire is building Eco-A Atlantic in Nigeria. Street genius. This dude dropped a dime on my cousin, R20. Marcus Love, both Kobe and Dynast have so much to offer. Why not squash the beef and join forces? Some of us want the knowledge. Search for who? Kobe, you're lying. Show the receipts. Gary Grant. It's not what's said, it's what you did, Kobe. Matt Blaylock. This is how Kappas do each other. Somebody, Dr. Something. This shit has to stop with Black people. Dark side. This guy should be ashamed of himself. What is wrong with Black people? Hashtag jealousy. Monk psychology. Hey, O'Shea, just doing my part. Listen, all right, listen. I'm gonna do a call-in show way later on tonight, and then I'm getting the fuck out of here. But I want to go. I'm supposed to be heading to. I'm heading back to Poland, but I'm supposed to head to Johannesburg for just a couple days. I got some things that I need to take care of there, and then I'm gonna go back to Poland and start my studying for my boards and shit like that. All right, but I just want to thank everybody for being here. Let's see, Black American culture is the most emulated culture in the world. I will agree. So also, my place in Nairobi costs $434 a month. So I will say this in closing, like I would say, Kobe, and I'll let you finish the thing off. I'm a proud African American. I've been coming to Africa for 2 years, just here and there. But I will say that I feel that African Americans, if we were to move in Africa, not move like there, but if we are to know some of the opportunities that are available to us, maybe as a group of people, it could be better. Like a lot of brothers I know always going to Dominican Republic and going to Brazil and places like that. Africa is a place that you can grow with the market in certain places, certain skill sets. Ali G, the richest of Americans are Nigerians, and they absolutely want nothing to do with ADOS. Thank you, brother. So, that's what we're trying to do, somewhat build a relationship, but at the same time, keeping our own identity. Anything else you want to say, brother, before we go ahead on and get up out of here?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me back on the show. I'll come back on.
Tell about the website, brother. Don't forget to tell them about the website.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Look, man, you guys go to blackAmerican.com, man, and just celebrate your heritage. That's what we do. Don't be ashamed to be a Black American. Be a Black American, because at the end of the day, the whole world is following your swag. You set world trends, and you should be proud of that. This is your country. The blood and bones of your ancestors are right here, and America is your birthright. So don't let anybody tell you any different. And the last thing I'll say is, O'Shea, I've never told anyone not to go to Africa. I want to be on record by saying that I encourage brothers to go to Africa, go. But the only thing that I say is maintain your identity when you go. Maintain your identity as a Black American when you go. Keep your name, keep your religion, keep your fraternities, keep your swag. Don't let a guy like Dynast try to, dupe you into changing your whole setup. Just go and be happy, man, and enjoy yourself. Go to blackamerica.com. I really appreciate everybody who went to the site last night.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how'd you do the people that went to and got a shirt. How did you do with that?
Man, I almost sold out of some items, man. Look, O'Shea, man, I sent you an email. I really want to appreciate you, man, because your crew, man, everybody flooded my site. I had 1,000 people hit it, and shoot, I don't even know what I'm gonna do, man, for inventory, man. But every single solitary time that I sell a product, I'm not just selling a shirt. I'm selling cultural pride. So when somebody purchases that shirt and I send it out, I'm sending it to somebody who's saying, I'm proud of being a Black American. You know what I mean? And I want everybody to know that. And I'm sending it to somebody who is saying that they're going to recommit themselves to the promise of America. And I'm sending it to somebody who's realizing that they don't want to give up on their American inheritance. Because the message that I have for everybody listening is that Africans want to take your place. I'm sorry, it's true. I've been to the embassies. I've been inside, mama. I've been to these embassies in Africa, watching the Africans begging to get out of their countries. And if you go follow behind Dynast and you go over there to Africa, at the same time you fly into Africa, Africans fly into the United States so that they can get a stronghold in your schools, in your neighborhoods, and in your business. So go to Africa and have fun. But then you come back and you get your education and you set up shop. Because if you don't, by the time you get back, they're going to be set up in your community, and then you're going to be calling them boss. I already told you yesterday over there in Houston, you got Nigerian police officers, you got Nigerian jail guards, you got Nigerian attorneys and Nigerian judges, and you got Nigerian prison guards who will arrest you in the streets. Nigerians they taking over the whole criminal justice system over there in Houston, man. They will arrest you, they will house you, they will sentence you, and then they will lock you up in prison. So take advantage of your American identity and join the police department, join the fire department, run for office, register to vote, and make sure you recommit yourself to, the promise of America. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, O'Shea.
Peace, everybody. I'll see you guys. Thanks for the support. Peace.